Hello, Xylophoney here to bring you another episode of How to Pixelmon! Today it's going to be episode 30, so we're going to do something extra special and make it all about the Eevee-lutions. Let's start off with our original ones. We got Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon, and of course those are all the shiny versions here. We got the pink and the green and the orange, when normally they're the blue and the yellow and the red. So they're here today. Now, thing about all the evolutions is obviously they are evolved with the stones or another method. These three, of course, are evolved with Fire Stone for Flareon, Water Stone for Vaporeon, and the Thunder Stone for Jolteon. Now we also have Umbreon we're going to take a look at soon, and it's done by evolving it at nighttime, such as now, with High Happiness. With a Friend Ball, you can get it up to 200 real quick, or you could use a Soothe Bell to make it go up faster as the Pokemon is with you. And Espeon also evolves the same way during daytime. Leafeon and Glaceon evolve near these stones, being the Mossy Rock and the Icy Rock. So that's how you evolve all of them. But that's not what this is about. This is about seeing how we can make these guys amazing, how we can make them great. And we're going to do that today. So, who shall we start with? Flareon seems like a good choice. So let's take a look at a nice move set for him. Flareon, of course, he is a physical attacker. He's got like good attack stat. He's also got some pretty good special defense. So you definitely want to use that. But here we have Flare Blitz, easily his best attack. Fire Fang, you know, if you don't want to hurt yourself with Flare Blitz. Last Resort and Bite. Now, one thing is with these guys, you can definitely use TMs on them. Like I'm going to use Dig on him, and then you can choose to get rid of you know, Bite or Fire Fang. Probably Fire Fang in this situation, so you got that different types you can definitely use. And then you have a solid move set on Flareon. Thing is, they can't learn a ton of TMs, but if they can learn enough TMs to make them very useful. So Flareon, of course, is going to go for the attack nature, such as Adamant, Brave, and Lonely. I'd prefer one of those, but you could also go for a special defense nature, such as Careful, Sassy, or Gentle. This will get rid of some of the special attack, which you're not really going to be using on a Flareon. The Flare Blitz is really going to be where that Flareon comes in useful. So that's all about Flareon. Now let's take a look at Vaporeon. Vaporeon is definitely a very tanky one. It has good special defense and really good health. As you can see just in the list of Pokemon I have here, it substantially has more health. Another like 75 more than just Jolteon and Flareon. So if you train it with a special defense with a calm, sassy, or gentle nature, it'll definitely be pretty effective. But you could also train it for special attack with Modest, Quiet, or Rash. But definitely, you know, if you want to make it tanky, train it health and special defense. If you want to make it, you know, all around good, you know, special attack and then maybe health or special defense, however you want to train it there. But let's look at the moveset for it. Moves, we got Hydro Pump and Muddy Water. Hydro Pump, of course, has lower accuracy, so it may miss. So keep that in mind. And it also has Muddy Water here. That's a little bit, hardly any better accuracy actually, but it can lower their accuracy. Also Aqua Ring, that's a move you definitely want to have on a Vaporeon, because it'll make them regenerate some of their health every turn. And we also have Hidden Power on him. You know, normally you don't want Hidden Power, it's not a lot of damage, but people usually send out a Grass type Pokemon against it, and if you have a Bug move to counter that, it's just more power to you. That means you can really surprise them and take them out. So Hidden Power is not a bad thing to have. But also one thing I don't have on him right now that you want on Vaporeon is either Aurora Beam that he learns, or even better, Ice Beam. And we can just replace probably Hydro Pump with that. And then you can have a solid moveset on your Vaporeon. So we look here, and Flareon and Vaporeon are both pretty good tanks, especially in special defense. Vaporeon's obviously a better tank, but Flareon has one of the best damages of all the Eevee-lutions. However, they're both kind of slow, so keep that in mind. Now, the fastest one we're going to look at now is Jolteon. Jolteon's one of the fastest Pixelmon in the game, and he definitely has a good special attack to back that up. So go for your Modest, Mild, and Rash natures preferably. You can also go for Timid, Hasty, and Naive. Thing is that it already has so much speed, you don't need to worry about it as much, but definitely train in special attack and speed. Let's take a look at the moves here. Thunderbolt and Thunder, of course, have that good accuracy or that you know, high damage. Thunder Wave is actually a really good one to have, because Jolteon is gonna hit first 9 times out of 10, and if you can paralyze them, in a spot where you're in a pinch or something, that's just good luck right there. If you get lucky, you can just demolish everything like that. And then, of course, Shadow Ball is a special attack move that he can learn, and you can have that on him. You can also have Shadow Ball on Vaporeon. Really choose your move accordingly to what's good on your team. Like, we have a bunch of TMs here that are good, like Hyper Beam, they can all learn, Hidden Power, Dig, Shadow Ball. Just choose what you need for your team. But yeah, Jolteon's definitely one of the best sweepers on the Eevee-lution team. So you definitely want to utilize that speed and special attack as much as possible. Speaking of which, let's take a look at Espeon real quick. Espeon stats, its special attack is definitely best. Second, just by its speed, it's definitely a very similar to Jolteon. I would suggest teaching it Psychic, Psyshock, Grass Knot, and Shadow Ball. Now, Psychic, obviously, is going to be its best attack, special attack. Psyshock will actually be a good move if you want it to deal physical damage, but it still uses its special attack. It's a very interesting move, which I love to put on Psychic Pokemon just to mix things up. Grass Knot, of course, a grass move, and Shadow Ball, Shadow move, a ghost move. So that'll mix things up a little bit. And, of course, you want to go for all the same natures as you would on a Jolteon: Modest, Mild, Rash, Timid, Hasty, or Naive. Now, we're going to look at probably my favorite of the Eevee-lutions. I do really like a lot of them, but Umbreon really stands out, because Umbreon is one of the tankiest Pokemon you'll ever find. Like, let's just look at his stats right here, and he has a really solid defense and special defense, and he has some health to back it up. So when you're training him, train him in those three: health, defense, special defense. That's really what you're going to want. Now let's take a look at the natures real quick. Of course, I'd say you want either a defense or a special defense nature, and this is the only one I'm not going to suggest getting a damaging nature on. Very few Pokemon I'm going to suggest this on, but Impish, Relaxed, Bold, Careful, Sassy, or Calm, those will all be good natures, especially like one of the top ones that just get rid of your damage or something. That's fine, because what I would suggest to do on a Umbreon is, let me just grab a very special TM here called Toxic. Toxic is going to do your damage on Umbreon. Now, what moves you're going to want him to learn is probably Confuse Ray and Moonlight, and you're going to probably want to replace one of the moves with Toxic. Now, here's the plan for Umbreon. As you can see, we put a Leftovers on him, and his attack stat and his special attack stat are really low, so he's not going to be able to do a ton of damage, but he's going to be able to tank it. So what you want to do is Confuse Ray them, heal yourself when you need to, and put Toxic on them. And if they can't take you out quickly, they will be sorry. And if you want to do some damage, you can either keep Last Resort or teach it Payback, something along those lines. Point is, with these three moves, you're going to be looking good. You're going to be great. So, it's all about utilizing that tankiness of Umbreon to your own advantage, and it's just such an amazing wall to have. Now let's take a look in the PC here, grab a couple more. Where did I put them at? I think they're here. Yes, they are. Okay, so let's grab these three. Now I got two Leafeons here. I'll explain why I have that in a moment. But first I think we should go over Glaceon. Glaceon is kind of similar to Flareon, except for it has defense and special attack instead of regular attack and special defense. So it's kind of like a polar opposite, but it's played the same way. You can go with a Modest, Rash, Quiet, Bold, Relaxed, or Lax. Any of those would do pretty well on it. I'd probably try to focus on the special attack on it, because it does have a really good special attack, and you can definitely make good on that. So obviously Ice Beam's going to be good on it. Now you can learn Hidden Power on it, and Hidden Power is also going to be good on Glaceon, because what are you going to send out against Ice? Probably like Rock or Fire, right? Well, there you go. You have a Hidden Power to counter that right away. If they do the switch first, you might be able to take them out with the high special attack on Glaceon. I wouldn't rely on it, but you can definitely try to pull something off like that. So, obviously, Ice Beam's going to do way more damage, so unless it's, something that's, if they send out a Fire type, Hidden Power will be better. If they send out anything else, use Ice Beam. It's just smarter. And also Shadow Ball and all that kind of stuff. So, just another solid moveset. And also Ice Shard. Ice Shard is a physical attack, but it's a priority move that gets a stab. So that's why I think it's worth having it on Glaceon. Just priority moves are always good to have if you don't have a very wide choice of moves that you can go with. So we have that, and then finally we have Leafeon. Now we're going to look at some of the natures here. Now, thing is, Leafeon has 3 good stats as opposed to all these other Pokemon. Well, Vaporeon has good health, but you can't really train the nature on that. You can kind of EV train that. But Leafeon has attack, speed, and defense. Now, first we're going to look at an attack and speed one. Now, mainly on a Leafeon, I'm going to suggest to get an attack nature. Adamant, Naughty, or Lonely. Now, speed, you can get Jolly, Hasty, or Naive. Or, of course, defense, you know, the relaxed or lax nature would be fine. But I would definitely suggest one of these ones here. Now, here's a Leafeon that is definitely good for just using its attack damage. You got Leafblade, Last Resort, Dig, some solid attacks. Synthesis, because it has good defense, so if you can tank some hits, you can get your health back up. You can really have a good time there. Now, the reasoning we have the second one is to completely exploit that defense. This is the one you want to use if you're going for a defensive nature, or if you just want to make it more of a, you know, defensive Pokemon on your team. Leafeon, you can have Leafblade, of course, is going to be the most important thing, but also you can have Grass Whistle, which will put the enemy Pokemon to sleep, and it's low accuracy, but you may have a couple attempts with your defense. Synthesis, obviously, to get your health back up, and Swords Dance. Leafeon naturally learns Swords Dance, and I really suggest using it on him, because it'll increase your own attack. Leafeon's attack is already good, and he can tank physical attacks, and then just heal himself back up. So with Swords Dance, you can definitely just completely one-hit the rest of a team after you get through the period of, you know, putting a Pokemon to sleep and healing yourself back up. If you can pull that off, it's going to be super effective against many things, and so it's going to be a really good Pokemon. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the Eevee-lutions here. If you want, you can make a team with all of them. I suggest using, you know, some of the tanks and some of the heavy attackers, and then choosing, you know, what types you really need. Honestly, when I make a Eevee team, I'd probably leave out Glaceon, because he has the same purpose as a couple of the other ones, and because Vaporeon can also use Ice moves, but that's just me. You can definitely choose to leave out whoever you want, but most people just use them for their individual forms. Throwing a Jolteon on your team when you need the speed, throwing an Umbreon on your team when you need the tankiness, and they're all actually very good Pokemon. I wouldn't discount any of them. I definitely think Jolteon, Espeon, and Umbreon are probably okay. They're all good. You know, I was about to start listing all of them off. Maybe not Flareon, maybe not Glaceon, but you know, that's pretty much how it goes. Anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed this episode and decided to use at least one of these guys on your team. Maybe make a full team of your own of the Eevee-lutions. If you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like and let me know which of the Eevee-lutions is your favorite in the comments below. And of course, any more Pokemon you would like me to go over in the future. So thank you all for watching. Take care and goodbye.